This episode is brought to you by Olive and June.
And I'm a brand new fan of Olive and June because we're going to be talking about their gel polishes, which we're really excited to get. But prior to even this, like 2 weekends ago, Mats and I were out and he treated me to 2 Olive and June polishes that I painted my toes, and they look so good.
I love painting my nails at home. As you know, Olive and June delivers up to 21 days of flawless wear with a high gloss shine that won't chip, lift, or dull. There's no damaging removal thanks to their new peel off base coat and salon speed soak off system. Say goodbye to the drama of gel removal.
Olive and June's new gel mani system includes everything you need for a salon quality manicure in one box, and you can customize it with your choice of 6 gel polishes, which breaks down to less than $2 a manicure. There's a custom 5-finger LED lamp and the iconic poppy for easy painting with your non-dominant hand.
They also have a high-performance cleaner solution, HEMA-free, 15-free, and always cruelty-free and vegan.
I used to be a huge salon manicure kind of girl. Like, I was getting my gel every couple weeks, and I have to say, like, when I stopped doing that, I realized how much more of my life I had back.
Yeah, I have to be honest. I used to think that going to get a manicure and pedicure was relaxing, but I don't know what happened in the last few years, but
it was a sudden shift.
It does not feel relaxing anymore. It just kind of feels like I'm being pushed around and I have to leave. And that is why I switched to doing my nails at home.
I have to say, I think I'm probably the most excited for the peel off base coat, because that has been like the thing that has stopped me prior to this from getting into doing an at-home gel manicure.
Yeah, my nails actually got pretty damaged too because of all the scraping. And I asked him to stop doing that at the nail salon, and they're pretty resistant to that. So I like that I can be at home and, control that myself. I'm also really looking forward to all the shades that they have. They have 60 plus best-selling colors.
I'm so excited. CV red is like that, like perfect orangey red, which is like my favorite shade to wear.
Visit oliveandjune.com/blame me for 20% off your first Olive and June gel mani system.
That's OLIVEANDJUNE.com/BLAMEME for 20% off your first Olive and June gel mani system. I am sure a lot of you have heard of Hormone Harmony by Happy Mammoth, the supplement that helps women maintain optimal hormone levels, with over 50,000 glowing reviews from women worldwide and 98% saying they'd recommend it to friends and family.
Now you can take those results even further by pairing it with the prebiotic collagen protein. It helps to relieve occasional bloating, gas, reduce sugar cravings, and help you feel satisfied longer, boost energy, and help stabilize mood swings.
And because your gut directly affects your hormones, improving your gut health can actually help your hormone harmony results so you can feel like yourself again.
Happy Mammoth is dedicated to making women's lives easier, and that means using only science-backed ingredients that can be proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality, and it shows.
Right now, you can try prebiotic collagen protein in Hormone Harmony risk-free and get 15% off your entire first order with code BLAME at checkout.
My favorite thing about Shipt since I signed up for Target Circle 360? No price markups when I order same-day delivery from tons of local stores. Only a handful of alcohol retailers and items don't count. I won't lie, I've had too much fun being like, markups on groceries? Not in my fridge. Markups on pet food? Not for my DOG. Markups on tools, electronics, home goods, meds? Not in my house. Anyway, it's awesome. Order now at shipt.com/360. Terms apply.
Hi, hello.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Don't Blame Me. What's Don't Blame Me, Megan?
It is a podcast where we give you wonderful, amazing, life-changing advice that will change your life for better or for worse, but you can't sue us because it's called Don't Blame Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. So you can call in, you can write in, you can DM, you can
use the form,
email. Do you love the DMV, or are you like, I missed filling out forms? Don't worry, it's not like a DMV form.
No. It actually makes everything simpler.
It's so easy. So easy, we swear. And And yeah, there's so many different ways. If you want to call in or send a voice memo, those have to be under 3 minutes. If you want to write in for any of the ways that we said that you can write in, those have to be under 300 words. For all of the above, you have to be over 18. Please let us know your age, and it's all anonymous. So you don't have to give us your name, your social security number, your location. Also, just know that there is things, if you want to keep anonymous on the podcast, but you want us to know for context, you can always include that at the bottom. That's not a part of your 300 words. If it's more than 2 sentences, no. Like you can't like write a whole other background context. But if there's something of being like, hey, this is the specific thing I'm talking about. Like there's something for privacy I don't want to include, but it'll be helpful for you to know. Go for it. Do that. We respect your privacy. We would never share that aspect of it. And you gotta make it. You gotta make it. You gotta either call or you gotta write. And because it's anonymous, you have to make it make sense. Like you can get creative if you want to do that. Some people have gotten very creative and like done fake names that are all related to different things and all of this kind of stuff. That is all fun and good. But I promise you, it is just as fine to just do a concise, clear thing that you need advice on that doesn't have the bells and whistles. Like we love a bell and whistle, but just know that you don't need to do that for us. We are okay with it. I feel like I haven't included this in a while, but people still do it, which is great. Let us know if you're sensitive. And also let us know if you're not sensitive and you're like, I need you to, get some sense into me.
Yes. You did a great job with that.
Thank you.
All right. Shall we get into the first one?
Let's do it.
This is from someone, 27, she, her. I was laid off at the start of 2023 while living outside the U.S. Since then, my days are split between applying for jobs in the morning and building my own agency in the afternoons. I've applied for countless roles, remote, in-person, and service jobs. I've only had about 8 interviews in almost 3 years. The agency I created is geared toward the entertainment industry in the country where I live. On the surface, it looks like things are going well. I'm landing deals, connecting with influential people, and building something that feels meaningful. But those wins rarely translate into income right away. Publicly, it's looking like I'm succeeding. Privately, I can't afford small dignities like coffee or paying a credit card bill. It feels demeaning. I'm not opposed to getting a job at all. In fact, I desperately want one. My agency feels like it is the only viable thing I have, even though it's not financially sustaining me. As 2 creative entrepreneurs, what should I do? I've tried crowdfunding, applying for grants, and everything I can think of. I'm exhausted and don't know what the right step is.
I need to know what not translating into income right away means. Like, do you mean like a 30 to 60 day to 120 day pay period? Or do you mean that these are like done in exchange for like their trades, like industry trades? Because if it's industry trades, like you can't live off of industry trades like at all. And most of the people who are able to do that, if you're like, why can't I do that? They have family money. Like that's just like point blank how people are doing that. But if it's that like people aren't paying you on time or you are lenient with your like pay structure, then I think that I don't think you need to like necessarily full blown like abandon this. If you are getting paid, it's just not in the same regular sort of way that you are. But I also wonder, like, how much money are you spending? Like, are you the whole like investing in your business kind of a thing? Like, are you spending money more than you are making money? Because like, that's not, people don't do that to like start a business unless they have money. They have like the funds to begin with. So like when people talk about like, you gotta spend money, you gotta do all that. Like that comes from like once you have like created this investment and like you have the money to invest in this thing. And that's not all the money you have in the world. That's not like, very rarely the only time you ever really hear people doing that if it's like a product, like that they're so insistent that's going to like change everything. But this to me, I've got more, I feel like I've got questions.
I want to know what job you were doing before and if there's something you can do that is adjacent to that job so that you're not just applying for everything and anything that comes your way. Is there something that has a transferable, like if you worked in, let's say, set decoration, can you like help people design or like design their living room, like something like that? Is there something that you can also be doing within the industry or something similar to the industry where you can be making like a consistent amount of money? Or even if it's like one up things, but like I feel like if it was something similar to that, then you can build up a client base. But as far as like what else you can do, is there, because you're doing everything you're supposed to be doing, is there like a business entrepreneur program in the country you're in? Like, for example, I did one here in LA. There was like the mayor was putting on this event that was sponsored by like some of the big bank groups where we had these meetings every week and everything was free. These meetings every week with professionals that worked in the in different industries and that were entrepreneurs. And then we found out like the resources that were around that could help us build our businesses. So have you looked into any type of program like that? Because that can be helpful. I also know that there's a lot of mentor programs where they'll pair you up with someone that is bigger in the industry that you work in. So I've also done that. That one specifically wasn't very helpful for me because the person I was paired up with was not in the specific industry that I'm in. But if I had asked for them to change, but I got super busy at the time, so I wasn't really trying. But if I had asked to get somebody more specific for the industry, they would have done that. So I'd look into like mentorship programs and anything that you can do to help build your business. Even like in the US, a lot of libraries will have free programs that will help you. I can't really say because I don't know what country you're in. So I can't be that helpful to you specifically, but look into things like that.
Yeah, because I don't think you need to like fully abandon this, but like if this is not paying your bills, like it's not paying your bills. And like I think like if this is like your absolute like love and passion and you're willing to, you know, you said you applied for like grants and you did all that stuff, you've like tried to really make that work. It's also not giving up on like, if this is your dream, it's not giving up on your dream if you can't make it happen right now. But even like expanding your, like the scope of what your agency does, that might not be like your ideal and your favorite, but like, or might not be like a permanent change, but like something like for right now. But like, I know people who have done, like we're running social media accounts for like up like new high-rise apartments and we're getting rent in exchange for stuff like that. And so like that depends on where you are, legal or not. But like, there are ways to do things for, if you are doing things for trade, they have to be worth your time, because like your time is money, your time is valuable. And these things that might be like, oh, well, this thing like is this level of value. And it's like, okay, cool. But unless I'm selling that thing or this good or this service to pay for my rent, it doesn't actually give me any financial monetary benefit that I actually need to live. Like, it's just like perks. And there's a lot about the industry that, and again, depends on where you live. We can't be like that specific, but that is, you know, image based and like trying to keep up appearances with that. And so like it can get really fucking expensive, but I think Melissa's right in like utilizing the other resources that you could have. But I think mentorship would probably be the best, considering they would know your location. They would know all of that so much more than we can. But yeah, I'm curious, like who you're, if it's like, is this like an influencer agency, or are you like representing brands? Are you representing like actors? Are you representing directors?
So if it's like a job agency where like, you know, you're like, okay, I've got a gaffer here and I know this project is coming up, so I'm going to put this gaffer in that. Like if it's that, like just like a job agency, you know, those things are helpful, but unless you're paying people are paying like a big monthly or yearly fee, it's not going to be very profitable for you.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like, if it is something having to do with like actors, directors, people who work on set for film and TV production, there's just not a lot happening to the point where like there are people who have been at like big agencies who like have left because like they can't make any money. And so like to start it from scratch is a commendable thing, but like it is just like the industry right now is just like not at a space that people who have been in it forever are not being able to make money. And it's not like a hack. There's not a secret. It's just like there's not enough stuff.
Yeah, I was talking to a writer this week who was an EP on a big show, and they're like now writing short form dramas.
Yeah, like it's really wild. Like it's a really like shitty fucking time for it. It's like getting slightly better like in the last, I don't know. I think we're having high hopes that it's gonna get better. But I think there's also like no shame in, you didn't say what kind of jobs you were applying for, but like, and I don't want to say this because like I know that some people are like, well, yeah, duh, I've been applying to those jobs too. Like, I'm not saying that like you think you're above this or these are easy jobs to get. They're just as hard jobs to get. Like, I know people who are trying to get minimum wage, like fast food jobs, and they're not getting those jobs. Like, the job market is awful. But depending on if you have not opened up your scope to different kinds of jobs like that, like things that are hourly versus salaried, I really would do that, considering like, especially if you want to continue working in entertainment, like that's a great place to like network while actually getting paid hourly. Like, and it's so common, at least where we are.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we get back, we'll get into the next one.
You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Whoa! That was a bop! Ooh, let's keep the party going with the Claptrap Public Domain Serenade! Happy birthday to you! Let's all loot and shoot! Ba-ba-doo-doo! Borderlands 4! Well, that kind of fell apart toward the end. But you get the idea. Borderlands 4 is out now! Buy it! Buy it, buy it, buy it!
Rated M for mature.
You're tuned into Auto Intelligence, live from Auto Trader, where data, tools, and your preferences sync to make your car shopping smooth.
They're searching inventory.
Oh, yeah.
They find what you need.
They're gonna find
You
it.
can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. Pricing's precise and true.
So true.
It's smarter car shopping.
Ooh.
Just for you.
Oh, it's just for you.
Ooh.
Find your next ride at autotrader.com. Powered by Auto Intelligence.
We're back, and it's time for the next.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. Long-time listener here, first-time caller. I am calling in to ask for advice on how to tell my parents I'm pregnant. I, 24 female, am currently at 9 weeks pregnant with my first, and I'm having a hard time figuring out and even wanting to tell my parents I'm pregnant. My mom is 51 and my dad is 46. I am pretty close with both of them, but don't see them super often. They are also divorced, so I'd have to tell them separately. The reason I'm having such a hard time telling them is because I don't think they'd be excited. Both of them have told me before that they want me to wait to have kids, since they had 4 kids by the time they were my age and they struggled. This will also be their 10th grandchild. My boyfriend had no problem telling his parents, as he told them right after we got the positive test. But this will be their first grandchild. Almost his entire extended family knows at this point, but he still wants to put an announcement out on Facebook to tell all their family and friends. I asked him to wait until after I tell my parents, so he is impatiently waiting. I need to do this somewhat soon because I am starting to show and I want to talk to my mom about all these new things that are happening to me. Thank you in advance for any advice y'all give me. Also, since I have some time left, my boyfriend and I are both Aries, and there is a high possibility our baby will also be an Aries. And if you care, my dad is also an Aries and my mom is a Taurus. Thanks so much.
I love that. I really want to know if your parents like your boyfriend. That's like kind of the only thing I want to know. But like, you didn't say they didn't. So I'm assuming that that's not the issue. It sounds like the only issue is that they had a minivan full of kids by the time they were 24. And so they don't want you to.
I would talk to your siblings if they got 10 other ones out there.
Great fucking point. I forgot. Yeah, there's a bunch of other fucking kids that filled the rest of that minivan.
Right. So talk to your siblings and see how they told your parents. But like, it's your life. And so I think sometimes parents talk in ways that are like, I want the best for you, blah, blah, blah. I think this is how you should be living your life, but this is how you're living your life. You and your boyfriend are excited about this. They'll get on board. It might be scary to tell them at first, but I think they're going to be happy for you regardless.
Yeah.
Now, number 11 is coming.
But like a lot of times people speak in like absolutes and like, if you're happy and they see that you're happy about this, like if their reactions maybe not like over the moon initially, it might just be like they're trying to gauge if you're excited about this. So like I always think leading with how you feel in like these moments of announcements, because like I'll be honest, if someone came to me right now, like one of my friends was like, I'm pregnant, I'd be like, oh no. And like I would need them to tell me like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, I'm pregnant. I'd be like, we are so happy. Yay.
I always ask, how are we feeling about that?
Exactly. So like, I think if you lead with how you're feeling about it, and I get that your parents are divorced, you have to tell them separately. Talk, like Melissa said, talk to your siblings first, and specifically like talk ad nauseum with the sibling who had the kid, the youngest, and be like, okay, like how did this go? Thoughts and feelings. And then ask your siblings to be there with you when that happens. Like in general, having something to diffuse that. And like, if you want your boyfriend to be there and like in theory to tell him, but like, you're like, I'm actually not sure that that's going to be great. Then like, that's to me, if I was your partner, I'd be like, that's okay. Like if you think that like, it's not going to go over as well if I'm there, in the sense that like they might say something that upsets him and, you know, trying to keep the peace. It's like every family dynamic is different. I think like if you can both be there to share that news, like that's lovely and great. But if you think that it will go better if it's just you and your siblings telling a parent, but also sometimes you can just do it like, it can be like, you know, we spent a weekend together. We're all hanging out. Like we came over for lunch and we're leaving. And, you know, before we leave, we have some really exciting news and we tell you, and then we're getting ready to go. Like, it doesn't have to be like a come over. We have this big announcement we want to tell you, and then we're going to spend time together afterwards. Like you can time it any which way you want, in a way that like, if it doesn't go the way that you envision or the way that you really want, it, you know, it doesn't derail the entire day or the rest of the plan. Like you can plan for it to be kind of unpredictable. Like a smoke bomb and just leave. Exactly. And then, oh, poof. And then you like, and you know, drift away in the haze. But I think the most important thing is having your siblings there. And if your siblings are all people who have not like carried said pregnancy, but they are the, you know, they weren't the pregnant ones themselves, then I would say like, if you have like a wonderful sister-in-law that who you love, who's there, but like someone who can like acknowledge, someone who can be there for you, who understands like also like the pregnancy hormones and emotions and feelings. So like they can help guide the conversation if one of your parents is taking this in like a way that is like not productive or helpful, because that being your responsibility as you're actively with child can be like a lot to emotionally handle. Yeah. Also, you said they had 4 kids by the time they were your age. You've got one. So you're already beating them. Yeah. If they're like, oh, we didn't want this for you. And it's like, by the way, I I did exactly what you said. I didn't have 4 kids by the time I was this age. So, and also maybe like you're turning 25 before this baby's born. Well, Aries. That's like the beginning of next year. Beginning March, April.
I don't know when Aries are.
So, but congratulations.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations. We're all excited for you.
And don't tell them that your boyfriend's family already knows.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into the next one.
Optimism isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's fixing things, changing the way we fix things. It's running the world on smarter energy. Because if optimism never stops, then change can't either. GE Vernova, the energy of change.
This episode is brought to you by KPMG. Making an impact is how KPMG helps make the difference. KPMG applies advanced tools and strategic thinking to convert data into actionable knowledge and deliver value by improving performance through transformation, modernizing processes with technology, harnessing the power of data, navigating complex M&A transactions, and enhancing trust among stakeholders. Go to kpmg.us/advisory to learn more. KPMG. Make the difference.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. When you visit the doctor, you probably hand over your insurance, your ID, and contact details. It's just one of the many places that has your personal info. And if any of them accidentally expose it, you could be at risk for identity theft. LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second. If you become a victim, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year at lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
We're back and it's time for the next. Hi, Eminem. I just had my first baby. Look at these, so many babies, podcast babies. I'm 32 and I just had my first baby in May. I'm still on maternity leave, but when I do go back to work, I work from home. Before the baby, I was very much a comfort show on in the background while working, kind of girly, and was on Instagram for maybe 20 minutes a day max. I don't have TikTok. You don't have TikTok. Okay, we get it. You're better than us. I hate the internet and can't be bothered. Oh my, gosh. How do you listen to us? But now our girl is a stage 5 clinger and won't really sleep without being held most of the time, which is very sweet, but my screen time is through the roof and frankly making me deeply sad. I also really am trying not to be on my phone in front of her, and our goal is to not give her screens until she's 2 years old. I have all of my original 90s VHSs on an old small TV for her when she's older, trying to be intentional with it. I'm an avid reader, so I do that when I can, but it's hard to hold her in a book/Kindle when you need 3 hands. Oh, you need 3 hands to have a baby, I swear. And I can't really retain audiobooks. My question is, what kind of audio-only format content do you love/recommend? Obviously, I listen to your pod, and I love Giggly Squad and Normal Gossip, but wondering what else would be good, easy background audio content that's still fun and entertaining and doesn't require my full attention to enjoy it. Something longer form, I don't know what there is even out there. P.S. Not interested in listening to men. Thanks. Do you have an interest in listening to gay men? Because I think Las Culturistas I think are one of like the few celebrity podcasts that like are popular right now that didn't really start with video content. So like their audio content is like very engaging. Like I think a lot of like podcasts that are brand new, a lot of them like rely on visual elements. So like that can be hard. So if you can, open yourself up to gay men, I think they are great.
I wonder if you have one of like something you can strap your baby into on your person too, so you can have your hands free. But also there's scripted audio content. Like, I don't know what kind of things you like to read or listen to, but if you're into vampire stuff, I just wrote a series called Chosen by Faith. I don't know why I said vampire. If you're into werewolf stuff, there are vampires in it too. But if you're into werewolf stuff, then like my series Chosen by Faith, Rejected by the Alpha, there's on the app Pocket FM, there's tons of scripted audio content. So if that isn't your cup of tea, there's a lot of different stories. You can also look on Audible for their scripted audio content as well. And like I know you said that audiobooks aren't like, you can't really retain them well, but if there's something light that's not something you really have to think about, then it could be better for you too.
Yeah, I want to push back on the statement that like you can't really retain audiobooks. That as like a broad statement, I promise you it's not true. You just have to know who you are. Some people can listen to books, the same books that they can sit down and read. For me, when I'm picking an audiobook, it is not the same way that I pick a book that I'm sitting down and reading. Like they are so totally different genres for me because I know what my attention span. So like I can't really, not even really, but I point blank like can't do a very dense, like fantasy sort of audio book. Like that doesn't really work for me. I can do it if it's something I've already read before, like, and it's like a comfort kind of listen. But like nonfiction books that are narrated by the authors, like those I find very easy to like dive into. And there are just like so many different things that like starting like a series of, I don't know, one of those like dragons fucking humans kind of things. Like that might be a lot, especially because like there's sometimes very graphic things and you're like, oh, that's, I don't know if I want to hear that through my speakers.
While I'm holding my baby.
Yes,
Weird.
like it just feels a little odd. But like there are things that like, you know, like old Sherlock Holmes stuff. Like there are things that aren't so, you know, that there aren't necessarily like falling into like the current tropes of like what we think of with like what's really popular in books right now, which, you know, romanticy and like smutty kind of sexy stuff like that. There's like so many different things. And even just like going back and like listening to books that you like really like loved as a kid, like that I think is fun. Like there's a podcast called like The Sleepy Bookshelf, I think it is. And it is one of my favorite things to like, I can listen to an audiobook. It'll put me to sleep instantly. Cause that's how the only way I would fall asleep as a kid. Like I had a same like book on tape that I played over and over and over again. I could not tell you how this story ends. Don't know anything about it. I can tell you Wolf Story by William McCleary. That's it. I don't know what else. I don't know the plot. Like it would knock me the fuck out. But when like Monster's out of town and stuff, and I'm like, okay, it's harder for me to sleep. The Sleepy Bookshelf will have books like James and the Giant Peach and things, but they remove all of like the stressful elements of it. So like, but they keep the story flowing in the same way. So like it like lulls you to sleep in a really nice way. But in doing that, I like realized so many of these like books that I read as a kid, I like read like the picture book versions or the not the full book versions of them. And some of them are just like nostalgic and fun in that way that are like whimsical. So I would really recommend that. I think like, what are other like podcasts that aren't like video element? Because like two podcasts that I would say like I really enjoyed, they're both like heavily visual elements to them. So like you could listen, but I have to assume that it would I've never listened to them. So like I think you're sacrificing. But also don't beat yourself up about your screen time.
Yeah. Truly.
Like
don't. And I have let me look at what my screen time is right
You don't
now.
want to know mine.
Mine is probably just as bad.
No, Melissa, mine's probably like 17 hours a day.
I think mine's probably just as bad.
Because for me, I always have YouTube playing on the background of like whatever I'm doing. Like I can't exist in silence. Like I need 5 things going at the same time. My phone is always dying.
Yeah, mine is average is 4 hours and 12 minutes a day, but also I have it set up so it's not reading my computer, because it was reading my computer and it was scaring me a lot. But like I also do mostly look at Instagram from my computer. I do look, depending on what I'm doing, I might have TikTok going on my computer too. So it's not a actual reflection of what my screen time is.
Oh, another one though, Mats loves this, he loves this podcast called like What Went Wrong. I've heard him listen to it. It sounds interesting, but it's like, you know, behind the scenes stuff of like how movies and TV shows, like specific things were made and like catastrophes that were either happened or avoided that he really like likes. And I know a lot of people love like deep dive history podcasts and stuff like that are not like dense episodes in themselves, but like have multiple chapters of like a bigger, you know, longer kind of story. So I think that is probably a fun, great time. But yeah, I really wouldn't beat yourself up about screen time, and like you watching because like if you want to watch a podcast, like I love Jesse and Lily's podcast. Do we know them? I love Brooke and Connor make a podcast. Like those ones I would say have visual elements, but like you don't have to sit there and watch like the whole time. But like, you know, you have headphones in, your kid is feeding, whether that's like you're pumping and your kid is like playing or something like that. Like your kid is breastfeeding and cannot see you. I think like holding your phone far away and listening with headphones there, if that's going to make you, that doesn't make you a bad mom. And like, if that's going to make you have like a little bit more sanity and feel like you're not just like stuck. And I don't mean stuck like in your circumstance, but like physically, like I have friends when they're like, I'm stuck. Like if I don't have like my water near me or like something, like I'm here for a long fucking time. And like, I'm just like restless. I love my baby can't talk back to me. Like, it's just like it's like your nap traps. Like someone falls asleep on you and you're like, well, fuck. So I think like realizing and recognizing that like your child not having screen time until they're like 2 years old is not necessarily the same thing as like you being able to like half pay attention to a podcast that's on your phone while your kid is like falling asleep or breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Your sanity is important to this, and
very important.
Yeah. And it's not like, you can't like win it. Like you can't win. There's no superiority in the sense that like, if it makes you feel like shit and crazy to achieve the goal that you want, I don't know that that's the goal I don't know how satisfying that's going to feel at the end if like the means to that have been miserable. Okay. And last one I will say that I think is great because it has so many prior episodes. The Bald and the Beautiful with Trixie and Katya. So many of them were not video. They have video now. You don't need video. They don't really do those elements in that way. But they have so many episodes and they're very fun and funny. And I realize I'm recommending a lot of gay men. Give women more mics.
Yeah.
But if anybody else's recommendations. Sorry.
To say. That's exactly what I was about to say. Also, if anybody else is listening and you have anything that you'd like to recommend, please write in. You can DM us or use the form if you want to. All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into Don't Blame Them.
This episode is brought to you by Marqeta. When it comes to your payments provider, you can't afford to compromise. Marqeta's modern payment solutions flex with your business without the trade-offs. Stable and agile, secure and innovative, scalable and configurable. If they say you can't have it all, don't believe them. Your business demands more. Choose a payments provider that delivers more. Choose Marqeta. Visit marqeta.com/Spotify to learn more.
A message from McAfee. Wondering why the post office is texting you or why you owe thousands of dollars in toll fees? Because someone's trying to scam you. The good news? McAfee can help. With McAfee's award-winning scam detection, it's easy to tell what's real and what's fake over text, in your inbox, and online. If they're
You want a free gift?
Seriously? If they're faking it, they're not making it past us. Get award-winning scam detection today. McAfee.com/keepitreal.
You don't technically need this car. You say that out loud to yourself. You say, I have no space. You say, I'm just looking. Then you click. Then you zoom in on photo number 87 and whisper, oh no. Then you text a friend, the one who always enables you. You say to yourself, this is the last one, knowing it is not. You don't need this car. But maybe, just maybe, this car needs you. Bring a trailer. It's never just a car.
We are back. It is time for Don't Blame Them. And what is Don't Blame Them? Oh, thank you so much for asking, Melissa. Don't Blame Them is when a listener will call in. By the way, did we tell you guys our video versions on Patreon? Check it out. Melissa's doing humor. She's doing comedy. It is where a listener will write in or call in with their own advice pertaining to a call we had on a previous episode. So they might have personal experience, professional experience, or just some insight that we didn't touch on that they think is important. And we're going to hear from them.
All right. This Don't Blame Them is in reference to the person that called, or the person that wrote in and said that they realized that their therapist is in their friend group. All right. So here we go. This says, I'm a social worker and my therapist lives across the street. I accidentally moved near where she lived in the middle of working with her, and we had a long conversation about how that would impact our work, what it would be like to likely see each other, and what we do if we started to know the same people. In this situation, I would tell your therapist you have mutual friends and ask for a referral to a new therapist immediately. You two can plan out how to navigate having mutual friends, but you may just want to cut your losses and not get involved in that friend group. Also, who knows, maybe your therapist and these friends aren't that close.
That's a point I never really thought about.
Yeah. But they're in pictures together, so.
It's too close for comfort for me personally.
Me too.
But like, that's a good point that like, you know, it also could have been like a, you know, friends with an ex. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they were friends with my ex and like I never deleted them. And, you know, we had hung out a couple times, but like, it's not that. But like, for me, the connection point blank, regardless of where it exists now, is too weird for me.
Yeah.
But it
like,
might not be for that person.
She knows that your ex that you're talking about in therapy.
Yeah.
Whether it's a passing thing, she now has a face to the name and has some type of interaction with him.
Well, I think it's less wild to me that you as the client might want to make it work. I would have a really hard time with the therapist saying that, trying to find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
Like, if a therapist like tried to find to make it work in their head and then was like, no, that can't, but like to verbalize that, to be like, you know, maybe I'd be like, why? No, like it's a conflict of interest in a way that like isn't pertinent to like our care necessarily. Like, it's just like, this is just a problem. Yeah. There's no benefit to this. There's the cost benefit analysis is just
way too close for comfort. But maybe they have a colleague that has the same temperament as they do, and they can send you a referral.
Yeah. It does like take the whole other thing to like being like, damn, like I wish my therapist could like understand. Like, I've said before, my therapist, like when I was talking about certain people, I'm like, I just like wish you like knew them. Like, I wish you could see it. And this, it's like, okay, well, now they know. Now time to go.
Because like the wishing you could see it would be like a fly on the walls type situation, not interacting directly with them.
Mm-hmm. And then you're like, oh, turns out I don't wish for that thing. Turns out that actually makes this kind of hard. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Thank you, person, for writing in and giving your opinion. Join us on Friday for Fisting Friday. We're going to catch up. Monday, we've got But Am I Wrong? Tuesday, see you next Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we'll be back for Don't Blame Me.
Woohoo! And we will... Oh, yeah, bye. We'll just bye. Well, bye. Bye-bye.
Toodaloo.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
I'm Amy Nicholson, the film critic for the LA Times.
And I'm Paul Scheer, an actor, writer, and director. You might know me from The League, Veep, or my non-eligible for Academy Award role in Twisters.
We love movies, and we come at them from different perspectives.
Yeah, like Amy thinks that, Joe Pesci was miscast in Goodfellas, and I don't.
He's too old. Let's not forget that Paul thinks that Dune 2 is overrated.
It is.
Anyway, Despite this, we come together to host Unspooled, a podcast where we talk about good movies, critical hits,
fan favorites, must-sees, and in case you missed them.
We're talking Parasite to Home Alone.
From Grease to The Dark Knight.
We've done deep dives on popcorn flicks. We've talked about why Independence Day deserves a second look.
And we've talked about horror movies, some that you've never even heard of, like Ganja and Hess.
So if you love movies like we do, come along on our cinematic adventure.
Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
And don't forget to hit the follow button.
From the darkest corners of our imagination comes a game show that's more ridiculous than terrifying. Welcome to Tickled to Death, the horror comedy game show where nothing is sacred, everything's a little unhinged, and the only thing more cursed than the questions are the jokes. I'm Roz Hernandez, your fearless host, and each week I'll be leading a brave group of guests through twisted horror trivia, improv games, and enough sarcastic banter to make you question all your life's choices. So come for the screams, stay for the snark. Listen to Tickled to Death wherever you get your podcasts, and hit follow unless you want the show to follow you. In the meantime, don't get tickled to death.
There are vampires out there. They walk among you, shoulder to shoulder in the dark. Heading to work, heading home, going to the bar. It's a life just like anyone else's, and I have grown used to it. To the darkness, to the moon, to the taste of blood on my tongue. But vampires are dying out. We are a fading kind, and I am the first one created in so long. And that is a dangerous thing to be. Those who came before me, elders of all stripes, they do not want to see our kind gone, and they will do anything to keep their power. And for myself, and for Grace, who created me, that is a sword that hangs above our heads. And the worst person of all carries our secret, and he will use it however he sees fit. Who do you look to when things are at their darkest? From the creators of Parkdale Haunt comes Woodbine, a podcast about monsters, dreams, and changes, those you want and those you never saw coming. Season 2 arrives September 24th, distributed by Realm.